Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful, breezy Tuesday in Chicago. It is, I'm guessing for those of you who suffer from allergies, it's not a great day, but I hope that it's lovely wherever you are this evening. Joining me in studio is guest co-host comedian Joe Kilgallon. You can follow him on Instagram, find his comedy special on YouTube, and he joined us on stage last Thursday at the Kids Above All event at the Den Theater. And so Joe, I have to be very honest with you. The reason I told you that the CEO of Kids Above All called me today to say how great you were was because I had been calling him for after an event, usually you get thanks for everything. That was a great show. Nothing. And I ducked out of there because we got tornado warnings while we were on stage.
That's right. Everyone's phones started going off.
Yes. So I'm like, peace out. And then I didn't hear anything. And do you ever get after a show like that, I get nervous, especially for corporate.
I'm very similar. I like to do the follow-up. Hey, thanks again.
Yes.
Sometimes I've realized about myself, I'll write thanks again when I did not thank him the first time. I'm like, did I even say thank you the first time? But the again makes them think that I'm overly grateful, which is cool. It was a great event.
It was.
And they were happy, the CEO?
Well, yes, the CEO was happy. So I don't know if you heard any of my set, but I maybe started out about some of the corruption I grew up around, that my babysitters were part of the Silver Shovel and IDOT scams and a firefighter who used to set fires around the northwest side of Chicago. Are you familiar?
I remember that story.
Matches
I don't know about
Boyle.
your babysitters.
They were, Matches Boyle and Quarters Boyle were both, the brothers babysat me in the 70s and 80s.
Wow.
And and then I realized afterwards, I'm like, there were a lot of, the former president of the Senate of Illinois was in the room. So that's why I started overthinking, should I not have talked about how corrupt Chicago? I mean, so they don't want to be reminded.
I mean, it's not like you're talking about anyone current. We all know the history. If we can't laugh at ourselves.
I did not talk about anyone current. I could.
Sure.
That's what I was refraining from, I think, is probably the best way to put that. Yes.
Oh, well, you definitely could have gone current for sure.
1,000%. That's Joe Kilgallon, who joined us last week. Joe, I'm not a soccer fan. I'm just gonna be honest about that, but I just went and watched France and Senegal, and it's really as boring as we always think.
Well, it was an exciting finish to that match. France played horrible in the first half. They're a heavy favorite. They lost in the final a few years ago to Argentina. You know, it's one of those sports where once you know it, you really appreciate it, and it's such a great sport to watch at the pub.
Okay.
I really mean it because, it's 11 a.m. People are drinking. We're yelling at the TV. We're singing. People have all these songs for different players. Chants, I guess you could call them.
Okay.
And the game's 2 hours long. World Cup, though, they add ads to it and things like that. They act like it's a hydration timeout and whatnot. It's just American capitalism sneaking its way into a socialist sport.
There you go. Well, then, maybe I need to do that because I had it on in the background and I was like, I mean, it seemed as though there was some tension because they were like, France needs to wake up. There were a couple close goals by Senegal, and then France just got 3 in a row.
Yeah, that was kind of how I thought that game was going to go. That match. They say match, not a game.
I know. I was asking Steve. I'm like, when's the kickoff? And he goes, it's not football. I'm like, well, when's the first pitch? When's the tip off? When's the? I don't. What do they? Is it? How do they start the game?
I actually believe they do call it kickoff.
Oh, do they? Okay, so
I'm pretty sure
I was right the first time.
You were right.
Okay, then. Now, are you on the social media side of Scotland taking over all of New England?
I love it. I'm a big fan of that. The Scottish have a similarity to the Irish, and wherever they go, they take over. I remember being in San Francisco coming back from a Giants game, and I think the Irish were just there for the summer. They go that J1 visa where they kind of go to different places for a 3-month stretch. They're all in their early 20s. They work at Wrigley.
Yeah,
there's a million of them working at Wrigley. You can hear
Navy Pier. I've seen a lot of workers there too. Yeah,
they come here and they just get these jobs. Apparently, those are the real foreigners taking our jobs. The Irish. And they sing songs on the train. I was on the BART, they call it, and that's what they call their L out in San Francisco. I think it's Bay Area Rapid Transit. And it's a riot. And I think it's pure joy, which I think American crowds could get a little bit more of, I feel like.
Don't you feel like we should be able to wear shirts that say, because they seem to be dazzled by our free refills, our massive gas stations, how big our country is. Lightning, they're dazzled by the frequency of lightning, which apparently is not as common. We have I think it's 21.1. I was researching this last night. The United States has 21 million lightning strikes.
Wow.
And so it's not as common in other parts of the, anyway.
I know it rains a lot in Scotland, so I figured there'd be
don't get as much
with it.
lightning. Yeah. So they're dazzled by, well, people from other parts of the world. They're surprised by the portions of food, they're getting. But I kind of feel like they like that part, our excess, and maybe they're learning like how we were placated into fascism. And also, I feel like we should all wear shirts that say, "I'm not with stupid." Like we should all no one has to know, but they know.
That's true. I feel like the Scottish feel that way about the English monarchy.
Right?
Most of them aren't big fans of that.
We're not with that. We're not with stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. We would definitely bond over that. But I do get a kick out of when a lot of Europeans come over here because they get blown away by things where I'm like, you know what? That is a great thing about America or about the U.S. And I should appreciate the free refills a little bit more. But I will never get over how often they'll take pictures like Buc-ee's, the Buc-ee's chain.
Yeah.
They love it.
Okay. So we needed, because you and I have been on the road. And there's one in between Chicago and Springfield on whatever road that is. I can't remember. It's not 57.
55. I think it's 55.
So folks were messaging. They had no idea. And to be fair, before I went to college, I had never seen a Walmart, was not familiar in 1989 with the breadth and scope of Walmart. And I would say that Buc-ee's is on that level of gas station and convenience marts, of like these massive bright lights, everything you could possibly want, but all in their own products, actually, right? Like the Buc-ee's anyway. So how would, like, it's hard to explain to folks.
Well, there was a chain of hardware stores called Crafty Beaver, and I thought it was the same logo. It looked like the same logo to me.
It does.
So when people started wearing Buc-ee's sweatshirts, I thought, I know that. That's Crafty Beaver. And they're like, no, it's Buc-ee's, man. And I'm like, and then I go, I don't know what that is. They go, you don't know Buc-ee's? I go, no, because when I drive to a destination, I'm not pulling over for some giant gas station thing.
Yeah.
It's the merch, though. People love the merch. It almost reminds me of Hard Rock Cafe merch.
I agree. That seems to be just entire, because I'm good at a pilot. Like, I'm good at, like, where's that massive one near Iowa?
That's the world's largest truck stop.
I freaking love that place. It's like a small town in there.
Pretty great unless you have to go to the bathroom really bad.
Yeah, where's that?
Yeah, I've had that where I have to go really bad and I pull over and I run into that world's largest truck stop and I'm doing laps.
But Buc-ee's is pretty close. I mean, like, it's massive. At any rate, they're dazzled by that again, which I appreciate. But it's fun to watch. Usually I watch kittens and videos about puppies, maybe a baby or two. But the Scots in Boston, the Koreans in Mexico City, actually Mexico and Lawrence, Kansas. Did you see this? Algeria, I think it's Algeria, was a team that decided to have their base in Lawrence, Kansas. So I don't know when they got in. The sun wasn't up yet, but hundreds of Lawrenceites, I don't know, people from Lawrence, Kansas. Kansans? Yeah, Kansans showed up to give them support and cheer them on and thank them for choosing Lawrence, Kansas, which I didn't. So do you know that?
That's nice. It's a college town.
Yeah, it's a very rich town, is my understanding.
I did not know that about Lawrence.
I thought it was. I mean, that's a long story for another time. Because I was dating a guy whose family lived in Lawrence, Kansas. Bo Jackson lived like down the street from them. See, and that's why maybe that's my impression of Lawrence. But that could also be Chicago, like Lake Forest.
A lot of places have a nice part to it.
That's a nice part. But at any rate, I just love that. But that we turned down the World Cup.
Yes, Rahm Emanuel was mayor in charge at that point.
Yes.
Because I know he's been making the rounds explaining why he turned it down. But
you know what they say in politics? When you're explaining, you're losing.
Yes.
Look, here's the thing. Daley robbed us blind on the meters, and he's never explained any of that to us. It's like, he's like, see ya, and I'm going to go work for the law firm that made that contract.
I know. That's the shadiest thing ever. I really think... I was looking back on some of the things that Daley did in his first term, and I was like, he's a pretty good mayor, even though crime was pretty high in the 90s. It really was. From, he got in charge or got elected in 89 or something like that to 93 was his first term. But man, at the end, was he awful. Just the meters, the Skyway.
Oh my God, he sold all of it. Yeah.
To balance the budget. It doesn't make sense. It's like selling your house, which is an appreciating value, to pay back a loan that, as a city and a city government, you don't really need to pay back all at once. People kind of like it when you pay it in chunks because it's almost like mafia. Yeah, you keep them on the hook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what they like to do with city government. I did hear a story about Daley. I don't know if it's 100% true, so we're going to put that out there because we believe in accuracy on this network. But it's a good story, so take it with a grain of salt.
Okay.
So we talked about the Chicago Bears last time I was on the show, last week?
Yes.
There's the big rumor the Bears going to move to Hammond, Indiana, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, Ted Phillips, who was the president of the Bears at the time in the mid-'90s, said to Daley, there's some land in Northwest Indiana, and Indiana's going to give us a great deal. We'd like to move over there. This is right around the time the Bears were talking about renovating Soldier Field.
Right.
And Daley said, oh, that's interesting. He goes, yeah, it's only 20 minutes away from Soldier Field. And then Daley's like, I think it's going to be about a 3-hour drive, though. And then he's like, what do you mean 3-hour drive? He's like, well, there's going to be a lot of construction on Sundays during the NFL season. And, we have to put some tolls up. And so he's basically telling the president of the Bears, if you do that, I'm going to make it impossible for fans from the city of Chicago to get to Northwest Indiana. And I kind of love that.
I was going to say, that is the most, by the way, also Irishy Chicago. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, it's slightly, it's not quite mafia, Italian mafia. It's kind of a little bit like, I got guys. It's the I got guys.
Yeah, I got guys.
I got guys. Just that. No, go ahead.
It'd be pretty hard for your rich fans from Lake Forest to get to Hammond when it's just nonstop construction on a Sunday. I'm going to give these guys the Sunday because then they get overtime. So then my union buddies are happy. If you want to get in the way of the union guys, Teddy boy, I wouldn't try that too much. You guys haven't won a Super Bowl in quite a while. Maybe focus on that.
See, it's a passive aggressive threats.
I love it.
It's a threats with a smile. I was not familiar with that, and yet it tracks.
Well, it's fun. It's like out of a movie, right? Like if
this
you're
whole
ready,
city.
yes, this whole city. Well, that's why I think so many funny comedians. That's Dan Katowski asked me when we did the interview to promote the show for Kids Above All last week at the Den. Great show, everyone. You missed out. I told him, I think Chicago's funny because he asked me why Chicago's so funny. We could have all 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah. We
have these characters that I feel like are any other city you'd be like, well, that's stereotype. No, it's true here though. There's people who are really like that. What you'd see like in a Hollywood take on Chicago.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, like, and sometimes you would see them in movies like in the like when Witness came out, right? 90s, and like the guys who were playing cops were actually cops. I mean, Dennis
Farina.
Dennis Farina, real cop. Like, yeah, they don't just get him out of casting. They go from casting to continuing to do the role.
They saw Dennis Farina and said, that mustache belongs on the big screen. We're going to make you a TV and movie star in no time. R.I.P. Dennis Farina.
Amazing. We're in studio with comedian Joe Kilgallon, guest co-hosting for this hour. He's got a special on YouTube that you should check out. He's also on Instagram telling you what for. Giving you the what for. I do love your walks and talks.
Yeah, take out the garbage and then just rant about whatever pops in my head.
I have an idea for that because because you told me I should try to find other ways. I've been slowing down on my videos for a little bit, but I almost feel like I wish that you could have like somebody making a comment and just take it and drop it in the garbage can, like as an edit.
That I could probably figure that out.
I can figure that out, but we could both. If I do it too, we can't. No one can accuse us of stealing from each other. It's just. It's
collaboration.
I can't believe no one else is really. I haven't seen other people doing that. Like you have a thing, take out your garbage, drop it in the garbage.
I'm surprised either. I would
we'll
like
do Chicago alley garbage. We're taking out the garbage with the Chicago comedians. But first with Joe Kilgallon, because you can take that. But I thought that would be funny because you're always taking out the garbage.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Taking out the garbage. Boom. Right there. The Daily Story is very Whitey Bulger. And we'll talk more with Joe Kilgallon and other topics that we are discussing here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters, who are the first to be our sponsors for the WCPT Pride Parade float. Joining them are the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Social Change, our friends at Berman Kia and Hyundai Auto Group are joining us, as well as our friends at Social Change, Illinois Veterans for Change, and the Bill McNeese campaign. Thank you all so much. If you're interested in sponsoring the Pride Parade float, please email me, pvasquez@heartlandsignal.com. We have room for everyone. That's pvasquez@heartlandsignal.com. And we'll continue our conversation in just a moment on WCPT and KKNW 1150. Oh, and also Facebook and YouTube. And later on, you might be hearing this on a podcast. And we're glad you did.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
No detours, no distractions. Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you for joining us. We continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. As I was telling you before the break, we are so proud to have so many great sponsors joining us in support of the WCPT Pride Parade float on June 28th. It's the 55th annual Pride Parade. And we're also, of course, grateful to Chicago Community Acupuncture. You know, Dr. Jason Bussell joins us every month for our conversations about how acupuncture can improve your life, as well as the other things he's learned along the way. So go to chicomaku.com. Joining me in studio is comedian Joe Kilgallon. He's appearing this Thursday at Zanies in Rosemont. He'll be headlining. It's a great club, and it's a great area, too, if you want to get dinner and a comedy show. I mean, come on now.
It's great. What I like about it is it's right off of 294 and just south of where 90 meets, so many people could get there from all over the place.
Also translated to, you and I can get there in 10 minutes.
Yes. Love that part of it. And notice how it calls itself the Rosemont Zanies, not the Chicago Zanies, because it's not in Chicago.
That's right.
You get that, Bears?
The Bears. The Bears. I do love how much people are losing. Oh, so I was telling you that I was hanging out at a neighborhood dive bar recently, and folks were complaining about the Obama Museum, and they were talking about how Pritzker can't do anything. He can't keep the Bears in Chicago. I believe was it your post? No, Jaime de Leon, one of you are posting a lot about the Bears. And he was pointing out that they've had, or was it you, 105 years?
It was me.
It was you, 105 years, 50 years at Wrigley, 55 years at Soldier to build their own fracking stadium.
They've never owned their own stadium in their history, a history that's been over 100 years, 1921. So I heard the reason is the NFL. Well, first of all, the McCaskies are probably going to look to sell within the next decade. And if you own your own stadium, you increase your value of what you could sell for. Also, and speaking of value, the NFL wants every team to own their own stadiums to increase their overall value too, which is, that's the one thing that always kind of bothers me about certain things. I believe everyone should have commerce is good. Make the money you want to make. We believe in fair taxes, though, of course. But I don't understand how you could be considered a failure if you're not constantly going up.
Right.
Like you could profit $12 billion one year, and then the next year you only profit $11 billion. But guess what, Patty? That's a loss of $1 billion. It's not a loss. It's money not realized. That's all it is. You don't lose $1 billion.
Yep. You know what's funny? I realized this during the SAG-AFTRA strike. Because there's a bar I think you're familiar with the bar in LA called Residuals. It's in Studio City.
Yeah,
right?
Speaking of residuals, I got my check from Chicago Med today, so you probably got yours today too, right?
Do I have another check coming? Is it more than a penny? Because Chicago Med pays pretty well, but like Comics Unleashed is the other. Nah, that one too. But like some of the things I've done are I literally get a check for a penny, and I was thinking about it, I'm like, this is a write-off. Like they don't have to. Like we could have negotiated something. I don't know if SAG-AFTRA has tried, but the paper, the printing, the stamp alone is
it's ridiculous.
Are you
I know.
kidding
I've gotten the 7-cent checks before.
Yeah.
From Sound Exchange for albums.
They can say that project is still now a tax liability because they're losing money on it year after year.
Everything's about spinning the books.
I realized that when I got that check one day during the strike, I was like, oh, because there are successful movies from the 90s that they're still claiming as a loss, that it's costing them money because they have to keep paying out. So those negotiations that we've made actually pad their wallets. And they wonder why LA is imploding.
It's dying. It's sad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Because it's a great place to shoot because it's sunny 348 days of the year.
Yeah, and then there's AI. So you can make anything sunny.
I saw, I don't want to quote something I don't have all the information for, but basically AI is not where it needs to be, and I hope it never gets there. It's showing that these data centers are not the money makers that they're hoping for communities, and it's bad for the environment, and there's so many things. From what I understand, AI was invented so people over the age of 60 on Facebook can make funny pictures.
That seems to be right.
And that costs about 8 gallons of water for you to make a picture of J.B. Pritzker crying about the Bears leaving to Indiana. I've seen that one a lot, and it's sad.
I used to work with a sports talk show host at another radio station who basically said that, he doesn't care how long it takes him to shower. He's ready to use all the resources of the planet because look at how full our lake is. Like, was it literally his reasoning? Look how full the lake is. I can take a shower, and I'm not saying you should. Again, like I take long showers, but like to have that thought in your head, I can be here for I think this is kind of long, and he's thinking there's Lake Michigan's totally full. I can take this as long as I want. And they believe in burning it. Like this is here for us to use. That God gave us this to burn and use.
I can't stand that. It's selfish thinking is all it is.
I know. But
why not just be like, I like taking long showers. Just say that.
Right.
I'd have more respect for you than you just claiming, look at that big body of water right there. Like, that's how they sound to me.
Well, that's always the whole thing about climate warming. When it gets cold out, they're like, oh, I guess the planet's warming. Like the whole thing.
I know, yeah. Oh, it's 15 degrees where you are. So therefore, I remember I shared this several times because it happens often. It'll be 12 degrees in Chicago, and it'll be 51 in Anchorage, Alaska, and during the same day. And I share them side by side, and people go, "Wow!" And I go, "You understand? There's a world all the way, outside of where you are.
No,
just because it gets cold on occasion does not mean it's the same thing I see on Facebook comments about the city of Chicago. And I hope Seattle and St. Paul listeners could appreciate this. there'll be a comment about crime being, or there'll be a crime. Someone will say, oh, someone got, shot somewhere. And that's terrible, of course. And then the comments will be like, I thought crime was down.
Oh, God.
As if two things can't be true.
Yeah.
Down does not mean eradicated. It still exists. We're just saying it's not as much as the previous year. And then they go, oh, I bet it's another isolated incident. And I'm like, well, technically it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Do you not know what they don't know what
God.
isolated incident means. And everything's a false equivalency. It's frustrating.
It is. It's exhausting. I keep, but here's the thing. We keep showing up. Right.
We do.
I mean, what's the alternative? I mean, I remember being this way. I've been this way for over 40 years. My dad used to hang out at the Dunkin' Donuts at Milwaukee and Nagel, right there by the subway.
By the old Burger King. RIP.
Oh my God, Joe!
Miss that
We
Burger
are
King.
from the neighborhood. That bank over by there. That's more stories there. But at any rate, I mean, it was basically like their bar. Like my dad was a recovering alcoholic at one point, and they would all sit there into the night. I remember the night I realized I can't listen to this kind of stuff without saying anything. And this guy was making fun of Fernando Valenzuela. He was talking about, the only reason he can pitch so well is because of all that tequila, that cactus juice, and like the Mexicans are all drunks and like all this.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, alcohol.
Yeah, that's what makes
pitching.
it good. Well, because that was the thing about Babe Ruth. Like, Babe Ruth would drink into excess and eat all the hot dogs and still have, all these home runs, although his batting average was for crap. And we know that, and his walks and all that stuff. But at 13 or 14 years old, I got up and was like squaring off with this like 65-year-old guy saying that Mexicans are just alcohol.
Well, that's a good reason to square off, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I in my older age, I don't square off anymore. I just I absorb, I observe, and I clock it.
I have stretches. I actually brought this up with my therapist. That's right, everyone. I go to therapy.
As we all should.
I'm a good man who goes to therapy. So I said to her, I can't. I've been doing it more so lately. I don't know what that means, but I feel the urge to educate these people for some reason. I see these ignorant posts, and my new favorite one is during, it's Pride Month. So there's a lot of people, like baseball teams are doing their Pride hats.
Sure.
It's the logo with the rainbow, and a couple players put a Bible verse on it instead. And they go, why can't they do that? And I'm like, well, technically they can, but let me tell you why that's wrong. And also, why that day of all days? You're just trying to ruin someone else's like celebration by bringing up your own thing. Also, that one picture had tattoos on his forearm. The same Old Testament is against tattoos. It has the same amount of lines against tattoos. There's one line against tattoos and one line against homosexuality. And yet, Which one was he anti? See, that's my problem with them. These same people, it's like the one guy, you're 29 years old and you're not married. So are you telling me that you're a 29-year-old virgin? Because the Bible's against premarital relations. So why? They just don't like gay people.
Yes.
And I think that's what it comes down to, because if you're going to be strict on that part of the Bible, but then ignore all the things that you don't want to partake in, what else could I call you but a bigot?
I think that you're in safe territory there, and I would agree with you and support you in a bar conversation that gets out of control and we're standing up yelling at each other. He's
Yes.
got a point.
Why can't these people just watch Jeopardy at a dive bar like you're supposed to?
I mean,
why do they have to yell about?
I was heartened by the fact that one of the dive bars I like, Hamtree Inn here on Milwaukee Avenue.
My dad used to go there.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Cheers to our dads. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's my dad's birthday. It would be his 93rd birthday.
I hearted your Instagram story. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, did I have a Instagram
You had
story?
some picture of your dad, didn't you? Or was that someone else?
Oh, I don't know. But it was his birthday.
Someone else's dad's birthday today, too.
Yeah, I haven't been on Facebook that much, but I maybe later this week we'll post something. But yeah, he would be 93. I mean, you smoke 4 packs of Camels a day, and he went at it hard. He had a good time. It was part of his
And now you're telling me
personality.
about the donuts.
Donuts
and cigarettes. That's
cigarettes. Yeah, a little bit of everything. But yeah. So anyway, Hamtree Inn, they do Jeopardy there every day, and as you know, but afterwards the news comes on, which that's when you should leave. Usually, right? Because whatever. But I was there one day, and that was when the UFC cage was being built, and these guys were all screaming about how it was a monstrosity, which leads me to believe that maybe that only 16% of Americans approved of that might be close.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, there are good people who just have bad views. And I think that's where the frustration comes in, because you almost feel like maybe they weren't presented both sides of things. Maybe we could show them a better way, because I think you and I and a lot of people on the left, we do believe in humanity and we believe there can be good.
Right.
That UFC fight thing. What an embarrassment.
Oh, my
what an
God.
absolute embarrassment. I joke with someone going, you know what, the Bears should just play in the White House lawn. They could go there. Let the Bears play on that. That might make some people who hate Pritzker and Mayor Johnson. That's another thing I learned about this Bears debacle. I didn't know it was up to governors to keep teams in states. I didn't realize that was part of
Their responsibilities.
I didn't realize that was part of their duty.
And the fact that we still owe $500 million on the last deal, and you want to say that our electeds, that was a bad deal, and you want them to double down on that, still paying off that debt and create more debt. Let's take a break here. Comedian Joe Kilgallon's in the studio with me. He'll be headlining at the Zanies in Rosemont this Thursday. Go to zanies.com to learn more. Click on the Rosemont calendar for Joe's shows. You can also find his special on YouTube and follow him on all the social media platforms, including Instagram. That's where I follow him. I'm sure he's on TikTok and the Facebook and taking out the trash with Joe. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we are thrilled to welcome to the studio our next guest, Star de los Santos, Associate Director of Coalitions for Women Employed and graduate of the LGBTQ plus Victory Institute training program. Let's take a break here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150. Hi to everybody tuning in digitally. We appreciate you so much.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
Or
and Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation. Sometimes during the breaks, I just unload a bunch of stuff that's making me stressed, and I know I can't do it on the air because I might swear. And Joe Kilgallon has to be present and witness those kinds of moments.
I don't want to hurt my ears with that bad language.
I just love that there was something I came in with earlier when you're like, what corner of the brain are we working from right now? Because I came in with half a thought. I feel like you understand an ADHD brain.
I do. I'm a comedian after all.
Exactly.
That's everyone I work with.
Comedian Joe Kilgallon will be at the Zanies Rosemont this Thursday. You can go to zanies.com to get tickets and click on the Rosemont calendar. You can also find him on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Check out his videos. He's taking out the trash every single day because God knows there are not enough garbage men in the world to deal with what is going on in the United States.
There's been a couple videos where I'm not taking anything out. I just wanted to walk out that way.
Just like I need a breath of fresh air. And Chicago just has some spectacular alleys, and you have one of them. I'm just saying. It's
pretty good.
Good alleys, yeah. We have a good alley system. Joining us in the studio is our guest this segment, for two segments, I hope that they'll say. Star de los Santos, Associate Director of Coalitions for Women Employed and graduate of the LGBTQ plus Victory Institute training program, preparing LGBTQ plus people to run for office and serve in public leadership positions. Thank you for joining us today.
No, thank you. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. And you said you just came back from D.C.?
Yes, I did.
How stressful was that experience?
It was enlightening and stressful at the same time.
Was it your first time?
It was not my first time.
Okay.
I've been there quite a few times, but this time was a little different. I swear I did not go to that fight. I am part of another program that helps women in Illinois run for office. It's called the Illinois Women's Institute Training Academy. And they select 12 women in Illinois to guide them and to really kind of prep them to run for office. So this was our DC training, our federal training. And it just so happened to align at the same time. So, yeah.
Is this organization, this isn't Dick Durbin's organization, is it?
This is Dick Durbin and his wife, Loretta Durbin. They started this in 2002. And so every year they select 12 amazing women. And I am very lucky to have been selected this time around. So,
congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah,
That's
thank you,
very
thank you.
cool. That's got to be so exciting because I know that so many of their candidates have been successful.
Oh, yes, they have. Yes, they have. I think they were saying that last year or this last election about they had like an 88% winning rate or something like that. Yeah. So we're coming for it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the work that you've been doing, as far as what we're learning, how this administration is putting its sights on LGBTQ plus people, obviously driving women out of the workforce. There's so many different tips to the arrows, aren't there?
There's so much. I think we're being attacked on all sides, and I think that's why it's so important for state and local government and organizations to really work together to strengthen our policies and ensure that workers, women, everyone who is being attacked right now is protected. And so Women Employed has been doing this now for 53 years, since 1973, really being in the forefront of most policies that have really helped advance women in the workplace. And so we do this in a variety of different ways by shaping policy change, expanding access to educational opportunities, and fighting for fair and inclusive workplaces. And so this is even more important now to continue doing this work. We've been involved in pay equity laws, no history salary ban. Our most recent one with disparate impact, which really is an amendment to our Illinois Human Rights Act that will ensure that people are not being discriminated against based off certain policies and procedures that employers put in place, which we have seen.
Well, Illinois has, there was a few years ago, I was in the press box when they were working on legislation for pay transparency.
Yes.
So this is something I learned way early in my career. So I've been doing stand-up comedy for over 30 years. So in the 90s, there were sort of whisperings about how much people were making. And I was going to the Cleveland Improv? There was some place I was going in Ohio. And the feature, so there are three comics traditionally on a show. There's the host, MC, the feature act, and the headliner. And I was coming in a feature, and this guy was like, hey, I just featured. You're not going to believe it. They pay feature $700. And I got $500.
Ooh.
And what I was grateful for was him telling me how much he had made, right? And it's the kind of thing have you ever had times where you're like, you don't even know how much you're getting when you go into a week and you're like, it's kind of vague, or you're like...
There's some shows that can be vague. I wouldn't go to Cleveland for vague. No disrespect to Cleveland, but
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Right, fair enough there. No, I think it's important for comedians or any artists or any workers in general to share what you're getting made, because we're all in this together, and it's the people at the top are going to take, if they can take advantage of one person, they can take advantage of several people, if not everyone.
If you're quiet about it.
Yeah, no,
and it's show
1,000%.
business.
Yeah.
It's a business.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even realize that they can talk about it. They think that they're going to be penalized.
Oh, I always talk about it.
That, they're over here talking to their coworkers about how much they get paid. Like, literally, people all the time come up to me like, I can talk about how much I get paid.
Yeah.
I can ask my friend. I'm like, yes, please do so, because there's probably inequities happening and you're probably getting paid less or someone's getting paid more. And 9 times out of 10, that's usually the case.
Yeah. Bert Haas was one day talking about how they decided how much a house MC could live on. This was, again, the 90s. And he was like, and we decided it was $250 for 9 shows over 6 days, right? But I was making $175. Wow. And it happens a lot, especially in the arts and in comedy clubs in particular, because there's a whole thing about how women aren't funny. So now clubs think about how they're not going to sell a drink. Mm-hmm. And so to the other point about not just pay transparency about how much is somebody else doing what I do earn, but also your previous work history, because women of color, people of color are historically paid less.
Absolutely.
So if a new employer is going to go by what you made in your last job, that's because it was artificially often suppressed, right?
No, absolutely. And literally there was 2 weeks ago, my friend actually called me and he was like, they just asked me how much I made in my previous job. Am I supposed to answer that? And I was like, no, don't answer that. You're doing this for women. Do it for all the women. Don't answer that. And he didn't know. And it's like, that was a legal practice because he was already asked. And so it's really continuing these stories, asking those questions and not being scared to do so, even though I know there's always some hesitation, but you don't know what you don't know, right? And I think that's why Women Employed work so hard and, building awareness around these policies, because, people are trying to take advantage of that even more so now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing is that, so let's talk about how we talk on the show about how women are still earning, and the number has actually gone up. I think the percentage per dollar that white men make.
Yeah,
right?
Women are at 76 cents, and that's that's not even taking into consideration anything else.
Right. Well, it's also like Latinas, Black women, and I think Native American women, Indigenous women are paid the least.
Yeah, and tomorrow is LGBTQIA Awareness Day, and so LGBTQI families are making about 85 cents in comparison to non-LGBTQI families, and we see that unfortunately increasing, mainly because again of all the attacks, all the Equal Employment Opportunities Commission not really enforcing what they're supposed to be enforcing, which is protecting especially transgender and non-binary folks from discrimination and sexual harassment. We've seen a rescinding of 2024 guidance around workers based on sexual orientation and gender expression. And the list keeps going. The list keeps going. And all this is intersectional and will continue to impact that wage gap.
Do you ever have to ask Joe where our guest grew up? Because I was this young at one point. I don't remember being this pulled together when it came to the issues that were important, right?
Yeah, no. Where are you from?
Go Knicks. I was born in New York, Washington Heights. Shout out to them. Go Knicks. Knicks and 5. Yeah. So I'm originally from New York. My dad is a musician, so we moved back and forth from Chicago and New York. So I grew up a little bit in Washington Heights and here. So, I mean, I can still consider myself a New Yorker because according to Jennifer Lopez, you're only a New Yorker if you were born there, even if you're not living there right now. So, yeah.
Well, we thank you for coming in. It was nice to meet you.
I'm sorry. Did your team lose? I'm so sorry.
No, I was actually rooting for the Knicks.
You were? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I'm over the Spurs. They've won a bunch. And they're the ones that started that whole load management thing that's going on in the NBA,
really?
where players are healthy, but they take the day off.
Oh, that's right.
So that's always bothered me. I brought that up last week. So I'm okay with the Knicks. And what's your first title since 1976?
Yeah, no, for sure.
See, the thing about Gen X and millennials, we're pretty much still varsity plays hurt is the mentality that we have.
Yeah, basically. And the reason I got upset about it was, and I think, I'm not a LeBron James hater, but he started taking these healthy days off. And there's stories from fans who are like, I spent $1,000 on these tickets. I drove from this city to this city to see you, and you're fine, but you just didn't want to play for health. Like, it's not even, they're called healthy scratches, which means they're not technically hurt. It's just something that bothers me. Well, because the NBA could easily fix it in their schedule by not having back-to-back games.
No, fair.
They operate from a place of privilege, by the way. I'm just saying, how's the Liberty doing this year? Do you guys have Liberty near it?
Oh, we do have Liberty, but
I'm the same with the Sky. I got into it, and then things got loud.
Yeah, I'm not dedicated to a specific team.
Yep.
I kind of just go with the flow. But anything, Liberty, we could go. I also do like the Aces, but
Oh, there you go.
Don't kill me, Chicago. Don't kill me.
But it's all right. Okay. By the way, someone just got very excited. Washington Heights in the house, and I feel like they yelled at because there were a lot of exclamation points.
Yeah,
so they're very excited.
I'm Dominican, Puerto Rican too, so any Dominicans, Puerto Ricans out there, yeah.
It's been an exciting week, and here's the thing: I love how much Chicago is like. Usually, maybe I'm on a different side of Facebook now, where I just don't listen to anybody who's like, "Why they gotta fly the flags? That's the parade." It's been a lot of joy.
It's been beautiful.
Now, when I honk at somebody with a Puerto Rican flag, do they know I'm honking out of support, or do they think I'm telling them to get out of my way?
I think they know it's out of support.
Right? Yeah. I'm trying to tat.
No, for sure. Yeah, you got to tat. There's a rhythm to it. Yeah,
exactly.
It's got to have a rhythm.
Yeah, it can't be like that. Like a little reggaeton with a horn. Yeah,
I'm like, I don't got the right beat going. I'm like, does this make sense? No, okay.
Throwing a Bad Bunny song, yummy, you good.
There's a joke somewhere in there that white people can't even beep in rhythm.
I can't read. I can't, and I'm only part Latina. My mom's from Mexico. My dad was Irish, and it all works out the way it works out. That's all I'm saying.
Irish people have rhythm with their feet.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that jig. Yeah, that's a workout.
We are in studio with Star de los Santos, Associate Director of Coalitions for Women Employed and graduate of the LGBTQ+. This is your whole intro. I'm going to read it every single time. LGBTQ+ Victory Institute training program, preparing our communities to run for office and serve in public leadership positions. Let's talk a little bit more. If anybody has any questions about pay equity, and again, there's some legislation that we need to talk about that hasn't been signed yet, as well as minimum wages, all the things. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you for joining us. We continue our conversation with our guest co-host, Joe Kilgallon, who's headlining at the Zanies Rosemont. Someone's asking how you spell your last name. Traditional spelling, Kilgallon, Joe Kilgallon. And you can find him on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube as well. Yeah, yes. That's right. That's where you are. I can't keep up with all the things.
I have trouble doing it because sometimes I'll post a bunch on one platform and I'm like, I got to go to the other one too.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of plates to spin.
At any rate, it'll be a great show. He'll be in one place, spinning one plate for you on stage at the Zanies in Rosemont. He'll be headlined. Go to zanies.com for ticket information. Click on the Rosemont calendar. Also joining us in studio is Star de los Santos, Associate Director of Coalitions for Women Employed. And we're talking about wages. We're talking about, equality. I was talking to a lawyer a few years ago about Illinois' legislation when it comes to people like toxic workplaces, sexual harassment. Like, we apparently are amongst the worst in the country. I mean, New York had something where they opened it up because there's a statute of limitations. Like in Illinois, it's less than a year. If something happens, you have less than 1 year to report that an employer grabbed your ass, let's just say, at the Pride Parade in 2015. Just off the top of my head.
1 year.
Yeah. And so they opened, and I think that's changed, and they've also changed NDAs. Like it used to be like if you had a settlement, if you came to an agreement. So now the NDAs are different, which is why I didn't go after things, because I was like, I want to run for office. I want to be able to answer questions. But New York opened it up where I think like anybody over any span of time was able to go, if they had evidence, was able to bring cases. That's just one aspect of employment for women and women of color in particular, who are often the targets. But we have legislation here in Illinois. They're working on improving workplace environments, right?
Yes,
and pay.
yes, absolutely. I mean, I think it's an ongoing battle, of course, right? And so we started with the salary transparency law, again, because there are people who just don't talk about what they're getting paid, or they take on jobs and they're losing wages because they didn't ask those questions, or employers, again, like I've seen things, I've heard things, I could probably write a book on it, but it's also kind of sad that I could write a book on that. But one of our most recent laws that still is being waiting to be signed by Governor Pritzker is our Civil Rights Safeguard Act, which is, again, an amendment to the Illinois Human Rights Act that really just recognizes that policies that seem neutral still may have a disproportionate and discriminatory effect on people. For example, having a certain height or weight requirement for a certain job, right? Which, gosh, I think I remember there was like one job that when I was a teenager, they're like, you had to be like this and like a certain size or whatever. And I was just like, oh, that's not me. I can't have that job, right? And then that's pushing you away from a higher paying job. And then, women then are forced into these lower wage jobs, which are also under attack and also not being paid well. And so June 1st was when we were able to pass that. And I think it's really just, again, solidifying civil rights protections for workers in Illinois, which is really important.
Well, especially at a time when the Supreme Court seems dead set on just completely erasing any sort of civil rights protections and gains.
It's insane to me. It's so insane. I mean, it's not when you think about who's in power, but to think about how you are just fighting for just simple rights on the job, to be respected with dignity, to have time off, to take care of yourself. I mean, was COVID not a lesson enough?
Well, I mean, it's funny. It's having the long scope of history and where some of these folks come from, whether it's Clarence Thomas or Sam Alito. I mean, the sort of school of thought that civil rights was something that people have been fighting to eradicate since they were passed.
Yeah,
and they're part of that cabal, right? At any rate,
well, these are the people.
That's the energy they've put into for 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful, of course, but it's not surprising, and that's what I hate.
Yes.
It should be surprising that people want to eradicate something like the Civil Rights Act, but these are also the same people who believe only landowners should have voted. So it kind of fits with the way that was all handed down, generation to generation. The way they hoard wealth is the way they hoard horrible ideas. People, that's why I always respect people who don't vote the same way their parents do. And then I consider myself lucky that my parents voted the right way. So
I know.
Humble brag there, I suppose. But
nice.
it's alarming, and how quickly they're doing it too, while they're distracting. Am I going to buy Greenland? I'm taking away your rights. Am I going to do this? It's very annoying.
It's all a distraction. I think people also do forget, this wasn't long ago. This, in my mother's lifetime, she was given the right to have a credit card. And you know what I mean?
It's in my lifetime, baby.
Yeah.
To show you how...
I'm 55 years old.
Oh, my God. That face
I'm just
there.
Think about this. Well, think about this. Just when 1964... 12 years later, the New York Knicks won their title in 76. Think about it that way. That's how long the Knicks... I'm saying this is a Cubs fan, by the way.
It's really funny.
We should make a poster, like an IG post off that, and maybe it'll have a little bit more impact for sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I talked to women when I was campaigning for different races. So I created a group called Fibs for Wisconsin. Because, there's so many of the races in my area are pretty locked in, right?
Yeah,
and so we were campaigning for whether it was Susan Crawford, Jennifer Protasewicz for the Supreme Court races, obviously Kamala Harris. But I work with a lot of women in Kenosha, in Racine, in Whitewater, in Madison. Women who, when they got married, had to get their husband's permission to be on birth control.
That's insane.
Wow.
You couldn't get birth control if you weren't married.
There are some states who have it with vasectomies too.
Yeah.
Which I'm not comparing, obviously. I just thought it was interesting. That's...
that was wild to me. And these are women I'm sitting there talking to, and they were like, I had to get permission from my husband to be on birth control.
And people don't realize that's why people didn't get divorced for so long. Not just the birth control thing, but the fact that you can have a credit card and all these other things. Oh, people never got divorced back in the day. Well, because they were kind of...
trapped.
Yeah, what were they going to do?
Yeah. And to that point about, keeping women, basically wanting them to be pregnant. And then we have paid family and medical leave.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, we still are struggling to get legislation legislation passed.
Yes, we are. So we do have short-term leave that we passed. We did pass the Paid Leave for All Workers Act that gives you 5 days of time off for whatever reason. And then we did make an amendment for the Chicago ordinance because they already had 5 days off, but it was sick time. So now they have an additional 5 days for any reason. Because again, you just need time off. But the long-term care is still a thing. And again, I think it's just very surprising. Again, after COVID and stuff like that, that this idea of paid leave is just so abstract and like so absurd for some people. But it's just like, we need this. People need time off. I've gone through a couple of different experiences and have heard so many stories as well. Me, myself, it was in the midst of COVID. My mom got sick. My mom just started having seizures, had no idea what was going on. The process of figuring out what was going on with her took about a year. My whole life just changed in like one night. In one night, my entire life changed. And I was taking care of her. I was taking care of her bills. I was doing her groceries. I was trying to figure out all these medications, trying to figure out this healthcare system, which that's a whole, probably another segment. And it wasn't until, I do this work, right? And I just didn't really see myself other than just like doing the work. And it wasn't until a conference and they were like, you're a caregiver. And I was like, what? I'm like, that's my mom. Like, I'm just her daughter. She's like, no, you're a caregiver. You're providing this care and it's impacting your life and so on and so forth. And my brother's a caregiver. And like just the mentality just shifted for me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is personal. It impacts truly everyone. And so we continue with this fight. I try my best to, partner with individuals, partner with legislators, with organizations to raise awareness around this and also help people understand the difference between that short-term care that we have versus the long-term care that we're trying to fight for.
Excellent work. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to having you back in the studio.
Hey, thank you.
Congratulations on the championship, whatever. That's Star de los Santos. You can go to womenemployed.org. Again, that's womenemployed.org to learn more about the work that they do. Any other platforms you want folks to check out?
Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram at Women Employed, our Facebook, all that good stuff. We also have a Medium post that we do blogging on there and stuff like that. So yeah, stay tuned and see what else we're gonna come up with.
Yeah, stay engaged. Thank you so much for everything. I wish you the very best. I think good things are happening, and it seems like you're a big part of that. So thank you.
Thank you.
And Joe Kilgallon will be at the Zanies in Rosemont this Thursday. Thank you for coming in, Joe. That's Zanies Rosemont. Go to zanies.com, click on the Rosemont calendar, and you'll find more information about his show for Thursday, 8 o'clock show over by Dare.
Yes, thank you, Patty.
Thanks, Joe. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation. We have the illegal trans woman coming up in just a moment from KTNF, Ellie Krug. Thank you so much.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I've asked our guests from the last hour or two. It's so funny. I didn't mean, if I had known I was going to ask you to stay, I would have been like, and another thing about my neighborhood. Joining me in studio is our guest, Star de los Santos, Associate Director of Coalitions for Women Employed and the graduate of LGBTQ+ Victory Institute Training Program. I'm asking you to stay because even if my guest comes on Zoom or we give her a call, she's a trans woman who hosts a radio show. I believe she's the only trans woman to host her own radio show out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. So I thought she would absolutely have something to share as far as employment and wages and things like that too. So why don't I have your microphone on? Come closer to your microphone. Let me see. There we go.
Right there?
Yeah, right there.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. So, Star, you are originally from New York, from Washington Heights.
Yes.
So you mentioned that your family's work brought you to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been going back and forth between Chicago and New York?
Well, I think I don't want to age myself, but I have been here a little over half my life. So yeah, my dad, he was part of Los Quintones back in the 80s, 90s. He's a singer. So yeah, we just kind of came back and forth when I was younger. We settled here really like 6th grade. I would keep going back and forth. And then yeah, I went to college here.
Where'd you go to college?
Northeastern Illinois University.
My mother graduated from Northeastern Illinois University.
NEIU. Let's go, Golden Eagles.
I grew up on that campus because there used to be a whole separate area where like all those fields, like the football field and everything. There were old mansions over there where they had like the day camp, the daycare.
Yeah.
They had like these old like pools that we had like mulberry bushes. It was a really like the 70s. It was very oddly idyllic there.
Yeah, it's a change. I haven't been on campus in a while. I will make it a point to hit campus because now they have dorms and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, where were the dorms when I was there? Like that would have been nice.
I know.
But I grew up around this area, so it wasn't too bad. Actually, today I had to take the train and I parked at the Jefferson Park parking lot, and I was like, wow, I used to ride this train all the time to go or take the train. So it was really nostalgic.
And where'd you go to school aside from NEIU? Like high school? Or?
High school, I went to Steinmetz. I think, well, back then it was called Steinmetz Academic Center. I believe now it's called Steinmetz College Prep on Belmont and Narragansett. Yeah, they changed the names, but I did their military academy program there.
Okay. Yeah. You thought about going into the military?
I was trying to make my family proud.
Okay.
I don't think I necessarily wanted to go into the military. I think I was just, kind of following what they wanted me to do and like what they envisioned me in doing. And I was just like, okay, let's go for it. Whatever. And then I went to college and I was like, oh no, this is not happening.
That's not what I want to do.
No, it's not what I want to do.
Joining us on the line is our friend Ellie Krug, the host of the Illegal Trans Woman on KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Ellie, you're on the line with our guest co-host for this segment, Estar de los Santos. They are Associate Director of Coalitions for Women Employed and graduate of the LGBTQ plus Victory Institute. So I thought this might be a good sort of blended conversation. How are you doing, Ellie?
I'm doing great. Hi, Estar. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ellie.
I'm doing good. I'm living out here in, semi-rural Minnesota, Patty, and trying to do the work.
I know. The first thing that came, look, is it weird that, now when, I don't know how to phrase this because it's going to be clumsy, but, I knew that when the UFC fight was happening and the biggest line of the night comes out of this guy, God. I guess his name is the Incredible Hack or something like that. Yeah. I just, I don't know how everything seems to come back to this transphobia, this misogyny, this racism, when we're told over and over again, this is this is a America celebration and this is free to Americans and this is what it's insane, isn't it?
It's more than insane. I mean, it's just ratcheting up the rhetoric to make the country ready for when they decide that transgender people are going to be swept off the street. I mean, I am literally concerned about that happening. And, they just, it's dehumanizing. And of course, so what happens is that, people, they're viewing it as a slur to call somebody trans, okay? And certainly Michelle Obama is not transgender, all right? But it as they came to defense of Michelle Obama, as they should, nobody was saying, what about the trans people? Why are you doing this to trans people? Okay, it was like, why are you doing this to Michelle Obama? And, we've got the thing going with James Tallarico down in Texas, the same kind of thing about, initially equating him to being transgender. And I just anticipate seeing far more of this going on as we get closer to the midterm elections,
Yeah.
It feels like it just, once they realize how they could, and I'm not telling anyone what they don't already know about whipping people into a frenzy, that just, I hesitate to speak so negatively of people's intellect because ultimately it's actually a choice to remain ignorant.
Yes.
Right? So it is. I don't know how they were born, but now they're choosing to be stupid, to be hateful. It's a choice. Full stop.
No doubt about it. But the problem is that people who don't know transgender people, they hear this stuff. And what it does is it causes them to create the impression that transgender people are dangerous. Trump always uses the phrase lunatics, that we're out of our mind.
Yep.
And that makes it people less willing to take a risk to get to know a transgender person. And for families, that are not diverse, where, because being trans is about being wired. it's just you're born this way. I'm just sorry. I know that people find it hard to believe that, it's not a matter of just watching a video on RuPaul's, drag show and then you decide that you're, transgender. We're just wired this way. And so when trans people come out in families that are intolerant, and more intolerant because of the rhetoric that comes from Washington, comes from Trump, comes from other elected officials, that makes it far more difficult for the young transgender person in the life of these families for them to survive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would even, piggyback off that and even the division between the LGBTQ plus community, right? There would be no other letter without the trans community, right? Stonewall, all these things, right? And so just the disconnect within even our own community to not, protect our trans and non-binary siblings is something that has gone on, but I'm seeing more of now. And so I think, it also kind of starts there. We also as a community need to be more united and help our trans and non-binary siblings and protect them and call this out, not just call it out when it's convenient or politically, beneficial.
Thank you for saying that. I agree 100%. And we just here in Minnesota last weekend, we had the Golden Valley Pride event. So Golden Valley is where General Mills World Headquarters is located. It's a much smaller Pride event compared to Minneapolis that's coming up in 2 weeks. But I had on one of my gay friends, Christopher, because I have a number of gay boyfriends, and I wanted him to come on. And talk about me, about our relationship, about, you're gay, and he acknowledged that, still within the L's and the G's and the B's, that there's discrimination against trans people. But he's like, Ellie, I just see you. You're just Ellie for me, And I intentionally, and Patti, that show is going to air on WCPT at the end of June. And I just wanted people to hear that, to hear that this is just, that trans folks can develop relationships with anybody, particularly within the gay and the lesbian community. But, again, we get back to this battle with the president and other leaders just trashing transgender people time and time again. Transgender everything has become like this lexicon now that is being echoed throughout America. And it's just disgusting as I think about our younger people having to face all of that.
Yes. And that's the thing is that, as I said, it's just an easy weapon to pull out to make people react, and including us, right? Is that then there's these demands, even amongst ourselves, of what if we just didn't talk about it? If we weren't so. And what are you asking of us? Are you that's what I've asked listeners who were like, I just want to hear about it, in our own community. Yeah. And so you're asking me to not have a conversation with somebody about their day, essentially. Right. I mean, someone gets mad that I have a gay guest on who talks about their husband. Right. And they're like, I don't want to hear about two dudes. We still fall prey to that. Yeah. To being manipulated by that. And I also think that we don't recognize that we're falling for the trap, too, I guess is what it comes down to.
Well, people are totally falling for the trap. Yeah. And and we see it continuously every day. And again, I think it's this administration, the one thing that I will say that they're good at is creating division. Yeah. And that's creating division amongst men, women, non-binary folk, Latinos, Latinx, everybody, Black and brown communities. And we all kind of want, to say we're trying to survive this, right? We also want that piece of the pie. And so we're just okay, I want my piece of pie. And we're not thinking about how all of this is intersectional. They're coming for everyone, right? And so we need to, again, I think our differences really are what's going to save us. It's going to bring us together, but we can't continue to focus on all these things that, are different about us as if they're dangerous. No, it's what makes us beautiful. It's what makes us united. It's what makes us love each other and learn from each other and create change.
So I will tell you today I did a workshop, 2 workshops, for a large organization here in the cities that is education adjacent. We had about 120 people in the room. And I did a poll at the beginning of a talk that's titled Understanding Trans People, It's Not a Choice, ! And at the beginning of the talk, I did a poll, and I asked everybody one question. Do you believe being transgender is a choice? Yes, no, or uncertain? Okay? And I will tell you, out of this group of people, we had 2 people that said it was a choice. We had 18 that said they were uncertain about it. But we had 98 people who said it's not a choice. Okay?
That's great.
3 hours later, I got done with the talk, and I did the poll again. And we had still 1 saying it was a choice, okay? But, I knocked that down by 50%. Yeah. We had only 1 compared to 18 saying they were uncertain about whether it was a choice. And then all the rest, 100-some saying, no, it's not a choice. So the reason I bring that up with you is that I think that if people can just hear from a transgender person, can understand that they are attempting to survive the human condition just like everybody else. The transgender people want the same thing as everybody else, okay? We don't want anything special. We just want the same things that everybody else gets. That's all. And I think that if you can get people, put them in a room where they're willing to listen, you can move the needle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you. Oh, that's Ellie Krug, the host of the Illegal Trans Woman here on WCPT on Saturdays. Is that at 4 o'clock? Is that right?
It is 4 o'clock. Yep, on CPT.
4 o'clock Central here on WCPT. And what's the best place for folks to pick up a copy of one of your books?
Well, they can order it from their local bookstore, or, worst case, they can go to Amazon. Both books, Getting to Ellen and Being Ellen, are widely available. And just, please read my book.
Excellent. I appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you next, my friend. Keep up the good fight. Always wonderful to talk to you.
Thank you. Thanks, both of you. Take care and keep up the good work on your ends.
Yes, you too. And I'll definitely catch your books. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And we want to thank Star de los Santos for hanging out for another segment. Found out she's a neighbor, so you have to stay in touch and come and join us again.
No, you're kind of stuck with me, claro.
I think so. I mean, you're welcome to stay as long as you want. We're going to talk. We're going to take some phone calls in a moment. And Lady B, let's open up the phone lines because I want to make sure that folks can get in. We're going to talk about driving this summer. We're going to talk to Boss Lady, Hannah Herkes. She's a CEO and founder of Boss Lady Logistics, talking about driving on the roads with commercial truck drivers.
Oh, that's a hot topic.
Yeah, you're welcome to stay.
All right,
more after this. All right, let's do it. More after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 in Seattle, plus our friends in Minneapolis, St. Paul on KTNF AM 950. More in a moment.
Hey, Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, and of course, all of our friends who are tuning in on Facebook or YouTube. Perhaps you're listening to this at future times on one of our podcasts, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Joining me in studio is our guest co-host for the hour, now, because I've locked the door and trapped Star de los Santos, Associate Director of Coalitions for Women Employed. Jim, I was telling her about you off the air. I was telling Star about how you remind me of my dad if he was a West Sider who was a Democrat. Today, Jim, would be my father's 94th birthday.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I lost him 25 years ago this week, actually. He passed away right after Father's Day in 2001. And yeah.
Well, Patty, I know for a fact that he had to come to the bar occasionally.
Oh, you cross paths 1,000%. Either at the track or at the bars or maybe in a cell somewhere, Cook County at 26 in California.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt about it. 94, my God. Well, God bless him. That's all I can say.
Thanks.
Anyway, this is great. The Iranians finally figured out, let's put some psychiatrists on this negotiating team. And they put a couple of their top psychiatrists on. And they went over Trump's social media page, True Social, and some of his extraneous outbursts. And they came up with a diagnosis. And they said, we'll negotiate from this point. And they had an actual conclusion to their probe, and they said we negotiate this way with them, we could get them to relent to the bomb us into the Stone Age.
Yeah.
But what's really the depressing thing about this is, first of all, Israel doesn't want to play ball. That's number one. The other thing is, the shipping industry is not going to be whole for 5 years. So we're going to have escalating prices for 5 years. And there's no winners in this. This is, I don't know how a nut like this, what happened to our intelligence agency? They must have just completely depreciated it.
Yeah.
Where we can't even figure out who the hell is who and what's what and what's going to happen. Talk about not being able to look around a corner.
Seriously.
So here, so for folks who maybe are catching up on the story that you're sharing, an Iranian official who's apparently not supposed to be talking publicly, but has been verified by journalists, says we added 2 senior psychologists to the negotiations advisory circle so they can shape messages intended for President Trump from the perspective of managing what we regard as psychopathic behavior patterns.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, if we could have figured that out in the 2024 election.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Patty, come on. I mean, anybody did to see that was obvious. I don't know what they got to see. They got to get a psychiatric slip to vote, I guess.
Right.
But anyway, the problem with it is it's going to take years just to get the economy back to where it was in February, which is really depressing when you think about it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm 76, but your old man was 94. I mean, by the time I get a break at the grocery store, I'll be able to make it back with the groceries. My point is, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And then Yahoo doesn't want to play ball at all. He doesn't want to stop the bombing in Lebanon. And I don't know how and I think Iran's got us by the
crosshairs,
the upper hand. Yeah, they got us by they demand that they stop it, and the strait is theirs forever.
Yeah,
and not only that, but everybody who's got a strait, the Suez Canal, they
know we can be had.
Yeah.
They can figure. Well, you can't mess with us because we'll start charging you tolls and everything else. I mean, this is insane. What about the Russians by shooting at in the English Channel, shooting at a boat in the English Channel? How crazy is that? I don't remember that since World War II. Yeah, they shot at a yacht. Shot at a yacht in the English Channel.
Hey, Jim, I got a question for you because you're not online as much. Where do you get all your news? Because Jim will bring me stories I haven't even had a chance to get to.
I haven't heard. The most recent one I heard is that the Russian-Ukrainian war has lasted longer than World War I.
Oh my
That's
God.
the last one.
Listen, dear
which is also insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't miss much. I don't have to be. All I got to do is, put my ear to the ground.
I know. You do.
We used to hitchhike we went up to the country, at colleges up in the country, and I would get down on the ground because it was one road to town, and I had to be in town because I couldn't stick it. Anyway, I put my ear to the ground. I could actually tell when a car was coming from 10 miles away. So that's just the antenna I have.
But to your point, what the freaking frack is a Russian vessel doing shooting at an English yacht in the English Channel?
I don't know.
That's
I don't
insane.
know. Good luck with that. I mean, I don't know.
Of course, we're not going to do anything to back the British because Trump's all
we don't
googly-eyed over.
We don't even know who to back. But this off. Think of it. You've got Witkoff and Kushner. Witkoff's son got a deal with the Pakistanis for $1 billion Bitcoin deal that his old man probably greased the wheels for him in Pakistan. And you've got Kushner running around Albania. He wants to buy an island, and he's got the Albanians all up in ours. We don't want to sell it to Kushner. So these people aren't interested in America, or all they're interested in is making another buck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Jim, I don't know. Did you ever bartend? I mean, back when I was all.
I told you I worked for the bartenders union. I organized for the bartenders union.
Not for nothing. But getting paid in cash. Like there were ways to like maybe toss yourself a few bucks. These guys aren't hiding it at all.
They're not hiding it.
They don't care if the register comes up uneven, right?
Are you kidding? They don't even bother with a register. They're just going right under the table as soon as they hit the bar. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Everything is theirs. But this is what we're up against. But I knew it was going to happen. I mean, Trump was a phony from the word go. I mean, I don't know if anybody didn't realize that. I know the Republicans like to be in power. I can understand that. But to go to this extent.
I know, it's crazy.
Literally an episode. It's like literally the movie Idiocracy. Like I always reference that one because it's true. And even like that movie had a wrestling match. I don't know if people remember.
I've never seen it.
If you go back to Idiocracy, everything that movie is like it happened, but they had a wrestling match.
Oh my
it's like
God.
he's just basically recreating that.
It.
Yeah, no, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob from Indiana said it best because I was a boxer myself as a kid. And you know, my guys were Machine Tunney. You guys know how to box. It was a sweet science. This is like guerrilla warfare for these idiots. And then they put on TV today. They said, well, there was going to be a drone attack on the horseshoe, whatever. Which I don't believe that story.
Can I tell
anyway.
y'all? I was in D.C.
Yeah.
Nobody was really there. It wasn't as packed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the Puerto Ricans took over Humboldt Park. It didn't even look like that. You know what I mean? Like, there was no one there. It's a lie. And then on top of that, you just saw nothing but, like, National Guard. Like, it was very much protected. So I just... I don't believe that. But whatever.
Anyway,
Thanks, Jim.
Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Care.
Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. Before we go to the break, let's take one more phone call from Al in Franklin Park before we get to our guest in the next segment. Hey, Al, what's on your mind, my friend? You're on with me and Star de Los Santos.
Hi, I was just going to say that I'm going to be in your area tomorrow night. Because our state senator, Robert Martwick, is having a town hall at the Cupertison Center.
About what?
Just on state politics.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just kind of interesting, you know, that we have. I haven't really been involved enough in state politics, but you know. Every Senate district. Are you in the 10th? Are you in my district?
I believe I am in the 10th, yes.
Interesting.
I'm in the 10th district. But my representative district is the 20th, which is
Stevens.
The Stevens, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so and I haven't really gone to many state things, so that will be interesting to see what.
Yes, I'm sure that Robert Martwick will be very excited to tell you everything he knows. He's got a lot to say. Mm-hmm. Send him my best. Have a great night. Thank you so much, Al. Enjoy the evening. I'm glad you'll be in the neighborhood. Make sure you stop by one of our great restaurants here on the Northwest Side, okay? We've got Gale Street Inn, of course.
Yeah.
We got some Mom's Old Recipe. We've got, let's see, there's a lot of great restaurants.
There's a lot of great restaurants around here.
Yeah.
All right, well, have a good night.
And I'll have to call in and talk about Netroots Nation and the Arab sorry, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't come up with that right now.
That's all right.
I can't remember.
No. We'll talk about it next time, my friend. All right, have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. When we come back, we're going to talk to Hannah Herkes, who is the founder and CEO of Boss Lady Logistics. What you need to know when you're on the road with commercial drivers, because I know I get nervous trying to pass a semi. It makes me scared.
Oh, me too.
I'm like, do I stay here? Am I living behind this truck now for the rest of my trip?
Or like, what happens when it
right? Oh my God, when they're swaying.
When they sway.
Stay back. I get off and I take a breath and I figure they'll be down the road. I'll get there when I get there. Let's take a break here. We're in studio with our guest co-host for this hour, Star de Los Santos, Associate Director of Coalitions for Women Employed. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 and KTNF AM 950.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning We always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk and
Or
Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. Joining me in studio is my guest co-host for the hour, Star de los Santos, Associate Director of Coalitions for Women Employed. And we are so thrilled to have on the line with us. I saw this. Sometimes you get like these alerts from publicists, like, here's a story you might be interested in. I was like, yes, I want this. I want this very much, not just because I love the name of the company. We are talking to the CEO of Boss Lady Logistics, Hannah Herx. How are you doing today, Hannah?
Hi, good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Am I saying your last name correctly, by the way?
Hercus, like circus.
Hercus. Thank you so much. Sometimes people spell things out phonetically. I'm like, I still am not getting it. So thank you. I appreciate it. So first of all, tell us about yourself. Where did you grow up, my friend?
So I grew up in Los Angeles, headed over to Chicago. My husband's from the area, been here for the last 14 years. So, one big city to another.
Yeah. Los Angeles is sprawling. I mean, so if we want to talk about traffic and commercial drivers, because people go there to follow their dreams. And I don't think that they learn how to drive first before they get there. So it's it's people from all over the world with a lot of dreams. So tell me, how did you get into this industry in particular in logistics and doing the work that you do with, I mean, it's kind of a rough, no man's land or no woman's land sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you couldn't have said it better. Like, it really is a male-populated field is what I like to say. And I actually followed my brother into the industry. He was a semi-truck driver for many years. I kind of worked on the back end with him, running payroll, HR reports, et cetera. And then in 2016, branched out on my own, started my own company, and I founded Boss Lady Logistics basically on the idea to challenge that leadership in trucking has to look a certain way, because over the years, it's definitely scaled up in a larger way as far as leadership within this industry for women. But I will say, when I walk into a room of any type of conference or anything, I'm one of maybe 3 women in the room and there's 100 men.
Why do I feel like Taylor Sheridan needs to do a series about you and stop talking about like Yellowstone and the oil wells and things like I see a Boss Lady Logistics series is all I'm saying. Boss Lady. I mean,
that would be incredible.
I'm just saying, I mean, because we're talking about the largest fleet of trucks in the country. That's incredible.
So, yeah. And I mean, we partner with a lot of other reliable carriers as well. So we basically have a national transportation company that we can move freight across any mode of transportation, whether that's semi-trucks, utilizing outside carriers, dipping into FedEx, UPS, if that's what you need, trains, cargo ships, air, everything.
Wow. Okay. So so both Star and I were talking about how when we were around semis, I for various reasons, I've seen things. I've seen stories since I was young involving accidents with commercial drivers. We were just talking about like when you see the trailers start to like swerve in the lane, you're like, do I drive around it? So tell us what are some of the most common mistakes drivers make around semis?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that I'd like to hone in on is just awareness. Like being aware of your surroundings, especially when you're around a semi truck, is incredibly valuable, especially if you're driving in a city like Chicago that's super windy. Like you were saying to your point about the trailers swaying. So the front part of the tractor of the truck can weigh anywhere from 30 to 40,000 pounds. Now the trailer itself, whether it's empty or loaded, can weigh another 30 to 40,000 pounds. So you're talking about 80,000 pounds on average for a fully loaded trailer that is driving next to you. Now your little car is anywhere from 4,000, maybe 8,000 pounds if you have a big old truck or something like that. But you are looking at, 10 to 20 times the size of your car. So when you think about it in layman's terms, I guess the analogy I like to use is it's like an elephant and a chipmunk, and you are the chipmunk. So just stay away from that elephant. And I think the biggest thing is cutting trucks off, lingering in their blind spots. Trucks have a lot of blind spots, especially on the sides of the trailer. And to your point of it swinging around, physics is never going to be on your side if a wind gust takes an empty trailer and you're, sitting next to it hanging out. So I think that just the awareness of your surroundings, being aware that you're near a semi-truck is the first step, but then being aware of those blind spots and the cutting the trucks off, lingering too long, and then also underestimating how much time the truck needs to stop, like cutting someone off in front of them kind of thing.
Have you seen this video? And I just don't know what's AI anymore, but it's of this cop that apparently wanted the semi to stop, and he gets in front of the semi and stops.
Yes, I saw that.
Is that real?
So honestly, I watched it like 4 times too, and I can't tell if it's real or not.
No
but
way.
that's a perfect example of what could happen if you do get in front of a semi. When we're in driving school, we learn the distance that we need to stop if we're going at a certain speed. Now, again, times that by 10 to 20 your little car, and that's how much room the drivers need in order to stop their truck. So if you are, trying to get across lanes in a really fast way and you see 2 semi-trucks back to back, if you cut in the middle of them and the guy behind you is not able to stop in a timely fashion or, anything, then you're squished between 2 semi-trucks, and that's, an even worse situation. So I think just making sure that you are aware that the driver has his blind spots. Yes, they are trained, but they have blind spots, and their reaction time is ours, but the truck will not stop, especially if it's 80,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow. I hope the drivers on 294 and I-55 are listening.
I'm saying I try to stay away. If I see, I don't know about you guys, and everyone has a different tactic, but when I see someone that it just doesn't seem safe to be around, and that includes some, like I do everything I can to not be in that lane, not to be in front of them. I was driven off the road by somebody who was on amphetamines, and I think it was anti-anxiety. They passed out behind the wheel.
Oh, wow.
On 90, and I remember the one thing I thought as I was spinning across all lanes of highway, if there had been a semi, we would both be gone because he was attached. We were both spinning. We were pinned against each other.
Wow.
But yeah, he passed out.
Gosh.
But that's the thing is and I asked the trooper when he came to I had to be cut out of the car.
Oh my
and
gosh.
And the trooper came because he couldn't believe that someone survived that accident. And I asked him, I believe me, whatever blessings, whatever angels, whatever. I asked him what could I have done differently? He said, don't be in front of the guy who's under the influence. And that's really what there's nothing you can do sometimes, Hannah, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing about trucks is you never know what they're hauling. It could be explosives. It could be hazardous material. Yeah, it could be toilet paper or something easy, but you never know what's in that truck. You don't know if it's been secured properly. You don't know if the latches on the back of the truck have been secured properly or tampered with. You don't know if the driver, we would hope that all the drivers are driving properly, but again, they're people, and distracted driving does happen, especially, for semi-truck drivers, especially because they've been in the car for so long. Sometimes they get tired or they haven't pulled over in a significant amount of time. And all it's going to take is you cutting them off for them to, lose inhibitions and possibly hit you. And then again, I talk about physics. Physics is so not on your side, at all when you're the chipmunk next to that elephant. So just staying away is the best thing. If you do need to pass semi-trucks, I always advise to pass on the driver's side. Obviously, the blind spots are lower on that side, and you wait for the car in front of you to completely clear the semi-truck before you even get into the lane. I see so many people just sitting next to a trailer, and I just cringe every time because you never know. And safety first, especially on the roadways, we're driving these big machines, even as us in our little cars, they are big machines, and we just need to be as careful as possible.
Absolutely. And look, people want to be on the roads. Hopefully gas prices are going down, but it seemed like it didn't really affect the travel for Memorial Day weekend. So, I want folks to get on the road and enjoy this country and take the kind of trips they want to. I also want them to be aware, right?
Yeah, be safe.
Yeah, on top of everything, I mean, I know we're familiar. We're talking about distracted driving. Like, that's something that there's also no accounting for someone just like that split second of being on their phone, doing something like just texting something back, right?
Yeah, it really does take a split second. It was like maybe about a year ago. There was, the 294 is the expressway that I'm on the most, hence why I'm bringing it up. But yeah, someone was just, kind of just speeding through, just trying to cut people off or whatever, and they were trying to cut off a truck. And they ended up like clipping a car that was also trying to, and they started spinning.
Oh my
and
God.
Thankfully, I follow the rule. I forget the rule,
2 car lengths.
They 2 car
yeah,
lengths.
baby.
Like a couple trees. Yeah.
Well done.
But I stay away. And thankfully, that was the case. But it's just people are also in such a hurry, to get somewhere. And it's you have to think about safety first.
Right, Hannah?
Totally. And I mean, people are definitely addicted to their phones to a certain extent. And the amount of times I look over at the driver next to me and see them just fully texting or scrolling on Instagram, while they're driving, it really has become an epidemic in the country as far as distracted driving with our phones. And, whatever that looks like for the future, we could probably go down that rabbit hole for a while. But I do think the biggest thing is just setting your phone down, because they've done studies, and for every second that you are looking at your phone at going at an average speed, you're traveling 50 feet. And so to think I'm traveling 50 feet in a second or two when I look down at my phone, I mean, anything could happen. A deer could run out in front of your car. You're not reacting properly. It could be just you and the deer. It could be no other person involved. Literally. So I do think that, especially when traffic increases, just patience and awareness become even more important for everyone sharing the road.
Well, I really appreciate it. Now, I know I asked my friend Warren Price, who's a Hawk Takes a Wheel every Saturday morning here on WCPT, talks all things cars. I always ask him about what we should do as far as our maintenance on our cars. What do you want to tell us before our long road trips?
So, simple maintenance check. Just make sure that your oil's topped off, even if you just went and got your service done. Make sure that it's there before any long trip. Check your tires, your brakes, your fluids, your batteries, your lights. All of those preventative maintenance items will not only reduce the amount of breakdowns that you have, but it'll also help keep you and everyone around you safer. The worst thing ever is to be on the road on a road trip not knowing that one of your brake lights is out, and you're in a state that, maybe has things that maybe block the person behind you from being able to see properly, when the preventative measures that you could have put in place would have completely prevented any incidents that could happen.
Well, I'm so grateful for all the insight you've shared with us, your expertise. We've been talking to Hannah Herkes. Did you have any other questions, Star?
No. It's just a great reminder. I need to get my oil changed.
Get your oil changed. Don't ignore those signals from your car. It's talking to you. Well, Hannah, I really appreciate it. If you have anything you want to update us with, don't hesitate to reach out and tell the folks that connected with us that we're grateful for that. It's Hannah Herkes on Instagram, HANNAHHURCKES on Instagram, because I think we all should be following the boss lady.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one. Take care.
You too.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I get really nervous around this, but I mean, they want to get home too. We kind of get mad at each other on the road. What's funny? We expect perfection from each other in an imperfect world. So I don't know what we're doing out there.
We need to provide each other with more grace.
Grace, I like that.
We're always just on the go, on the move. We have to get home. We have to do this, and so you're just speeding through, and you're not realizing I should just take a moment.
Yeah, it's hard to market that though. We can only do it with fear and hatred. More after this on WCPT. Them. That's why we struggle. More after this on WCPT, KKNW, and KTNF.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation here on WCPT, KKNW, KTNF. Joining me in studio is my guest co-host, Star de los Santos, Associate Director of Coalitions for Women Employed. She's also a graduate of the LGBTQ+ Victory Institute training program. Do you know our good friend Ken Mejia Beal? He's the chair, the Midwest chair for the Victory Fund.
I do know Ken.
Yeah, he's our Wednesday. We should have you on sometime. He's my regular Wednesday guest co-host.
Oh, I would love that. Love me some Ken. Yeah,
absolutely. So I have had phone calls, and I'm sure that they may have stopped listening altogether, that they get tired of hearing about the issues of the LGBTQ plus community. That this whole idea, and that happens obviously during Pride Month, when we're sharing our photos. Some of my friends own a business that's Pride forward, and they do very well in June. And I'm like, you gotta follow up with people and say, hey, we're gay all year, right? Support all year. So we might seem loud in June, and that's because the work also happens all year long. This is a celebration. That's a culmination.
This is a celebration, and just a way to, I think there's also. Again, there's just so much going on in the world. We need to celebrate the wins that we have had. We need to continue to bring awareness that we exist and we're not going anywhere.
Absolutely. And it's celebrating not just our communities, but also the survival and thriving in a time, as you mentioned, so much going on. So are you talking to folks in the Washington Heights area about their ICE detention centers? And I know what's happening in Delaney has been heartbreaking.
Not as much. Focus has been heavily Chicago, New York. While they are going through their struggles, they seem to be in pretty good shape with their
reaction, the resistance.
Their reaction, the resistance.
Because here it's been quieter. It almost feels like they went stealth, and it's still being catastrophic over here.
Yeah, I think there's something special about Chicago and Chicago organizing. Mm-hmm. I think it is still happening. There are still stories out there. They're just being a little bit more quieter because Chicago just has such an amazing organizing body. I will say, while I'm not so familiar with everything that's going on back home in New York, one of my best friends, she's doing amazing work, rapid response, over there in the state of Washington.
Okay.
Kent, Washington in particular, and they're struggling. They're struggling. She has a full-time job not doing this. She's never been in organizing or anything like that. And the amount of kidnappings that she tells me about in just one single day, and it's all being community driven. These are all community rapid response teams that are going and helping families, is just astonishing to me. And so while it may be not happening as much in Chicago, I think again it's just because Chicago it's just different. It's different.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for a very long time. But places like Washington, and possibly even, other states that we're not thinking about are definitely struggling. ICE presence is still rampant. People are still being kidnapped off the street. And so I think it's also talking to these other states and seeing how maybe even Chicago can help. What are some models? What are some things that we are doing that maybe can work in other states that maybe didn't have to go through it like we did?
Yeah, I know that the number of people who we don't seem to have any account for what happened to them in detention. There's all kinds of stories. Just even all that fanfare, all that grotesque display of celebrating alligator Alcatraz. Jeez. And the hundreds. At one point, it was 1,200 people that they said that they just didn't have records of anymore.
Yeah, and they weren't allowing legislators inside. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they're not, and that's illegal first and foremost, which people don't even realize. They should be allowed inside. But the fact that, again, I was in DC, and they were saying, we're not allowed, the staffers, the legislators, and there's a reason why, and there should be more pushback. Again, just because we're not seeing it as much in Chicago, it is happening across this nation, and so we should, continue to be aware and continue to support the other states as much as we can.
And well, in addition to this conversation, I want to remind folks of why you came in the first place, which is tomorrow is the LGBTQ plus IA pay equity, transparent, the recognition.
Yes. So it's LGBTQIA plus Equal Pay Awareness Day.
Equal pay. I know. I'm trying to get to the title.
I know all the letters and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a day to really build awareness around the wage gap, particularly for LGBTQIA folks. It's 85 cents to a non-LGBTQIA family, and so that is unacceptable. And everyone deserves equal pay and dignity without struggles. And so we're raising awareness around that. And again, especially with all these attacks, it's even worse, right? Because people are being discriminated against because of their sexual orientation, because of their gender identity at work, possibly maybe not getting tipped as much, so on and so forth. So the wage gap is a very crucial topic right now.
Well, I'm glad you came in today. It was wonderful to meet you, and I look forward to having you back.
No, same. Thank you so much. You
My
might, I
pleasure.
don't know, you're inspiring. Maybe I go on the radio one day.
Yeah.
I was telling Patty, I was like, this reminded me of B96, you know, back in the day when you used to call in.
Eddie and Jobo. I don't know how far back we're going, but for me, it would
Eddie
be
and Jobo. It was Eddie and Jobo. So thank you for, letting me have my dream real quick. So thank you. Yeah.
I love that. We'll have to take more calls next time, too. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Folks can go to womenemployed.org to learn more about the work that they do, where Star De Los Santos is Associate Director of Coalitions. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lady B. Thank you to all of our guests on the show today. Thank you to our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters. Have a good night, everybody.